Well, I've got the rock. I mean, I've got a rock straightly behind you. I mean, I can keep track of.
These are sticking out like a sore thumb because they're white.
No kidding. I would have never believed that.
It's not that clear though.
You can't be very far from them, though. How, how would the mule tape be, I mean, for the current?
If I'm gonna have to get in the current, we'll have to probably.
Okay.
Can't believe we found them. All 5 rods. The bad thing is, if I would have been diving, just looking for stuff, I would have came up after I found the first one. But what happened was, these big chunk rocks over here, when the water came up, like I said in the previous video, because it'll do that, when that water came up, it kind of caused a swirl down there. And that's where the kayak ended up turning over, in turn flipping everything out of the boat. Well, fortunately, 2 of them were laying together, and then one rod was by itself, and then the other 2 were together. So they kind of just stacked in down the river, but thank goodness we found them. Scuba gear is paying itself off. What is going on, everybody? Well, kind of had a odd start to this video and an odd end to the last video. And I'll be the first to say, don't be a hypocrite. I said in the last video, and if you haven't watched that, you won't know what I'm talking about, so go back and check out that video so you know what I'm referring to. But I said, don't put yourself in a bad situation. And that's what we did yesterday. We were about to leave, and I said, you know, make sure you have a rock or a water bottle, anything that you can use to measure, to make sure that the water levels aren't coming up. And we knew the water levels were coming up. Well, when we had floated down to that original spot, we noticed that there was a tree in the water with some really calm, still water right by that really hard current. Knew that that would be actually a pretty good spot to fish. So what do? We're paddling back up river to get back to the truck. The water's picking up, current's getting a little more swift, and we catch crappie. And that was the last video that you all saw in the previous video, in part 1 of this. And we were starting to catch crappie. We ended up catching 7. And then we decided, okay, it's time. Let's go ahead, get across the river, because we had to make it to the other side. So we had to go across the really swift current that had just kept picking up as we were fishing. And if we would have just skipped that, like we probably should have, we wouldn't have got in the mess that we were in today. But we ended up paddling out into that, and water started coming over the top of the kayak, flipped it. We lost hundreds of dollars worth of rods within about 1 second. And it was swift enough, there was no way we were gonna get any of that back. I also lost my hat, my favorite Marucci hat that I have been wearing for a lot of my videos. Lost it, it's gone. And we lost all of the fish. We had them all on stringers, and they're all gone. Well, we actually came back today. This is the very next day. And so we made the trip down here again, about an hour drive. Made it this morning, got here, brought all the dive stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, we'll film a recovery video. Well, then I forget the clip to keep my GoPro on. But no worries, the water was really murky anyways. You wouldn't have been able to see. I could only see about a foot in front of my face. But thankfully, we found all the rods. We found most of the fish. I will apologize to the one catfish. He's probably done for. He's got a stringer in his mouth, and he went way down the river. Maybe somebody will catch him and they'll get a free stringer out of the deal. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But we found all the crappie, which is a good thing. Also, yesterday, really quickly, I am so happy I got this Yeti backpack. This backpack right here. So, yesterday, when the kayak flipped, I had my big camera, the one that I'm recording on right now, 2 GoPros, and my cell phone in there. So, there was a lot on the line that I put in that backpack. And I was sick. When I pulled it up out of the water, we got over to the bank, I actually kept a hold of that the whole time. And when we pulled it up out of the water, I was just like, I know I've heard that they're waterproof, but I was sick because I thought all my stuff's ruined. It's all wet. And I had already made up my mind that if it was all wet, no more YouTube. We were done with it. But thankfully, that was all dry, and it ended up working out. We found all the rods. We found most of the fish. Can't complain. But don't be a hypocrite. And don't put yourself in a bad situation. I think we learned a valuable lesson today. With that, we're going to wrap up today's video. I want to thank you all for tuning in to part 2 of this little unpredictable series, because I didn't know we were going to have a part 2. But I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you all are staying happy and staying healthy. And I will see you all on the next, hopefully planned adventure. I'm out.
Sweet